lot of people are talking about the AGR556 right now because of the free Mythic skin. And honestly, that makes sense, because for the first time, players are actually giving this gun the attention it should have had a long time ago. But here's the part most people missed. The AGR was never some random bad weapon sitting in the corner. It was always one of those guns that looked interesting on paper, but never felt clean enough in real matches for most players to trust it. That is why it stayed quiet for so long. While everybody else kept running the same safe guns again and again, the AGR was just sitting there, looking dangerous, but never really getting its moment. Until now. Because once you start looking at the AGR properly, the stats start telling a different story. It has the speed of an SMG, the reach of an AR, and with the right setup, it can feel way more threatening than people expect. And that is exactly why the free Mythic skin changed everything. Not because it buffed the gun. It did not. The stats are still the stats. What changed is the way people experience the gun. The cleaner sight, the smoother feel, the less visual clutter. Suddenly the AGR does not feel like a weapon fighting you anymore. It feels usable. And that matters more than most players think, because sometimes a gun does not become popular when it gets stronger. Sometimes it becomes popular when people finally stop getting distracted by how bad it feels and actually notice how good it really is. That is what happened here. Now look at the range. The AGR is almost tied with the XM4 in 4-shot range, and it keeps that damage farther out than most players expect from a gun that is technically an SMG. That already makes it interesting. But then you look at the movement and it gets even better. It has faster sprint speed, better strafe speed, and a quicker ADS time than the XM4. So now you are looking at a gun that gives you AR level damage while moving closer to an SMG. That is the kind of combination people usually ignore until it starts killing them in ranked. And then there is the 5.56 magazine. That is where the AGR stops being interesting and starts becoming dangerous. With that attachment, the gun stretches its consistency even more. And now you are challenging ARs at ranges where most SMGs should be falling apart. That is why experienced AGR players keep recommending the 5.56 setup. Because once you use it, the gun stops feeling like a weird hybrid and starts feeling like a real ranked weapon. And that is the part I think most players are finally waking up to. Not that the AGR is new, not that it suddenly became broken, just that it was always stronger than its reputation. And in MP rank, that matters a lot. You do not need a weapon that only looks good in perfect conditions. You need something that still holds up when the fight gets messy, when the map gets loud, and when everybody starts challenging everything. That is where the AGR starts making sense. It moves well, it hits hard enough, and if you build it right, it can absolutely hold its own in close and mid-range fights. So, is it worth using? Yeah. If you like fast weapons that still give you solid range, the AGR is definitely worth trying. If you want something that feels simple right away, you might still prefer other guns. But if you actually take the time to learn the AGR's handling, you will understand why so many players suddenly started running it after the free Mythic dropped. Because the truth is simple. The AGR did not suddenly become a better gun. It did not get some secret buff. A free Mythic skin just gave people a reason to look at it again, and once they did, they realized the gun had been better than its reputation for a long time. That is the real story behind the AGR556.